My first impression was, yeah, I'll get a lot out of this, but I'm kind of a lone wolf. So I like to do everything on my own, like whether it be business or working out or even like going years without having a female companion. So I was like, okay, is this group going to be restrictive? Because I have a difficult time finding people who meet me at my level. And I just didn't know if the group setting was appropriate for me. That was amazing. I mean, I was slow to get warmed up with the group. It naturally just takes me a bit to open up to people. But you would see one guy after another would share something that they've probably never shared with anyone else in their entire life, whether it be family, a best friend. Like we were sharing everything. Nothing was veiled, no bullshit. Everything was hanging out and there was no judgment. And I think that environment, I've never had that environment before. It was like having a room of 10 therapists who were badasses and realists and who just went after it. Everyone was just feeding off of everyone else's energy. If one person was kind of lagging or down, they would see someone else post an inspirational video. Someone had gone out and done something incredible that day or that week. And, it was just lifting everyone else up. And that was incredible because everyone has dark days, whether it be once a week or once a month. But I was going through a very difficult transition phase, moving to Spain, which Alan actually inspired me to do because it was one of my ultimate dreams. And just going through this transition process and having the support of the group, I felt like I was immersing myself not only with other men who are aspiring to greater things in their life, but also in the community here in Spain, like immersing myself, learning the language, pushing myself with my clients, going after my ultimate dream of being a photographer and a writer. Things I was ultimately scared of diving headlong into. I think the longer I've worked with Alan, the longer I've collaborated with this group, the easier it's been to take these massive leaps in the dark in life in general. Yeah, I think I really was reminded how important community is. And not just community, but community of like-minded individuals. Like I'm in a co-working group here in Spain. I'm in an expats group. I have some online masterminds I'm part of and marketing, in my field, as well as photographers. And, we relate on a professional level, but I can't really dive in too deep with any of these people. And this group of guys, I can tell you guys anything. I'm not going to get any judgment. I'll get some realness, some gut checks. I mean, I have friends from childhood. We've been friends since we were 5 years old. And I know those people have my back, but beyond that, you don't really build these kind of relationships, especially in this short of a period of time. I would undoubtedly die for these guys. I would do anything for this group of men. And you couldn't have convinced me that a couple of months ago. I was like, there's no way. I mean, my first call, there was a couple guys I picked out. I was like, yeah, I'd be friends with him. I'd be friends with that guy. Not the entire group. There's not one guy in this group that I wouldn't have a deep friendship with and a deep connection with, and that I wouldn't be willing to go out of my way to help if need be. Yeah, I think overall, I surrendered my anxiety. I surrendered to a higher mind, you could say. I was always afraid of going after, the bigger dreams in life. I always knew what I needed to be doing, but I really needed to be pushed. And like Alan pushed me one-on-one. I worked with Alan one-on-one, and that was the most transformative experience of my life. And I feel like I healed my mind through that experience. I think when I look in the mirror, I see someone that I love for the first time in my life. And that sounds cheesy and almost bogus, but I've always had self-confidence issues. No matter what I look like on the outside, I always had internal things going on. There were always voices in my head telling me I had to do a little bit more to get approval from society. I had to do a little bit more to approach the women of the caliber I wanted to approach in order to get the jobs that I felt I deserved in my career, my passions, really just across the board. And working with Alan, with this group of men, I feel like I've leveled up in every area of my life. Like if there's an outage, I instantly recognize it and I put it out. Like, oh, I have this addiction here. Let's take care of that. Because once you feel the energy and once you feel the removal of the subconscious mind who's kind of keeping your life small, like once you break down those barriers in certain areas of your life and you feel how good that feels and you see how powerful it is and you see how other people are impacted by it, how many people I've affected just because Alan has affected my life. Now I want to pass on this energy to other people, and I've affected my family and my friends. I've I've had such a positive impact just in the time that we've worked together in this group. And that's just uncanny. It's unreal. And when I talk to people about it, they don't believe it. But then they meet me in person. They're like, holy shit, you're so much different. I love this new Joseph. Is he sticking around? And I know like a few of my childhood friends have told me straight up, like, this is the you I remember when we were 5 or 6 years old. Like, this is you without without the shades on, without the voice in your head, just being whoever the fuck you want to be, just unrestrained, just living my life to the best of my ability. If I have down days, I know I'm in control of this. I can have an amazing day tomorrow. And now I've gotten to the point where, oh, I'm having a bad hour. Next hour is a new hour. I'll be a different person. I'll create a new environment for my mind and my body. It's another level of power and self-control. Like, it's one thing not to recognize yourself, but then you see other people's reactions to your growth. And I've done so many programs, not exactly like this, but I would say 5 or 10 masterminds and growth experiences and therapists. And this is the only time where people, I will not bring it up. And my sister-in-law, who I've known since I was 16 years old, I never mentioned this experience to her. And she was like, what have you been doing? Like, who are you? Like, this is amazing. She's just like, I really hope you stay on this path and you keep on living your dreams and being this person, because this is who you truly are. And a few of my other friends have noticed it as well. And even my own parents, my mom, she was in tears the first time I worked with Alan when I came back from one of the experiences, and we had a conversation, and she was just like, never seen this much passion in you. So we had daily challenges and then we had weekly challenges. And I would say, I went through a couple of these challenges in the one-on-one experience with Alan. And really with the group setting, the group cohort, every challenge was exponentially more difficult. But I was ready for that. And that's really what I needed. And the physical components, the mental components, I feel like it's really, in all 5 pillars of a man's life, you're really focusing on all of these on any given week, or you might even focus on all 5 of them on a few of these weeks. And it progressively gets more difficult. And I will be straight up honest with anyone who's interested in this program. It's going to be, if not one of the hardest things you've ever done in your life, it will be the hardest, unless you're a special forces officer or something along those lines. It's going to be a new level of difficulty for you, but you're going to instantly recognize that this is absolutely what you need to do. Yeah, that's hard. I think one takeaway is that it's an everyday job. And through this program, you will learn how to heal. You'll learn how to heal your body. You'll learn how to heal your mind. You'll learn to heal the wounds of past traumas. You will learn how to unrestrain yourself from the invisible barriers that society places on you. We place so many barriers on ourselves, but society also puts additional barriers on top of those. So it is unbelievably difficult to get over our own barriers. And when we do so, then we're faced with a different set of barriers that many that we don't even recognize if we're kind of stuck in the rat race of the modern life. And this program really breaks down how we can be living, and ultimately how to transcend beyond, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, how we can transcend into a much larger existence, how we can have a lasting impact beyond the trajectory of our lives. And I feel like that's the biggest takeaway, is we have to reach for more. I think this program is not for you if you feel like you weren't born for greatness, if you weren't born for something beyond your small existence. I think I have always been, destined for something more. I've just felt that aching. Henry David Thoreau, my favorite writer, he said most men live lives of quiet desperation and they go to the grave with the song still in them. It's super powerful. And I think it's dead on, especially with the modern life of a man. We all kind of feel that aching, quiet desperation inside of us, that we were meant for a different type of life, a larger life, a more impactful life, whether that be, it could be being a great father, it could be being better in your job, or it could be quitting that job and going after, whatever you dreamed of doing when you're 5 or 6 years old, which is exactly what I'm doing right now. and I finally have the courage to do so. I was on the fence for 1 year. So I saw a series of videos on YouTube of Alan, and every single video like really resonated with me. And every video kind of shined a light on something that I really needed to work on, something that I desperately needed to take care of. And that was really uncomfortable to watch. And it was also very uncomfortable to confront. So I was like, oh, I'm not ready for this. I'm not ready for it. So I just kept putting it off and putting it off. And then I went through a really rough breakup. I went through a deep, period of 6 months of depression. I have a history of anxiety and depression, which is almost invisible now. Anyway, so I went through many months of deliberation. I wouldn't even say deliberation. It was just a matter of, how long I could put this off for. And so I put it off for about a year. I took a trip to Greece. I sent Alan a message on Instagram, and I asked him what I needed to do. And he sent a series of audio messages, about 5 or 6 audio messages to me. He told me exactly what I needed to work on at that time. And fast forward 6 more months, we ended up working together. Finally bit the bullet. I knew what I was signing up for, and that was the one-on-one experience. So in the course of the 9-week program, my one-on-one program with Alan, I started to really heal my mind. And I have some deep, deep trauma, and I healed things I thought I was going to carry to my grave, things I thought I would always have to live with. And when we ended the 9-week program, he told me we still have a little bit of work to do. And I was like, I don't know, I feel pretty great. And then fast forward a few more months, he reached out to me, hey, I really want you to do the group cohort, but I wasn't ready for it. And then the next cohort came around, and I jumped in. But I still had my doubts. I didn't know whether I fit in the group setting. I felt somewhat uncomfortable with this large group of guys. I don't interact very well on video, or at least I didn't before this program. So the nerves were high. I didn't know what to expect. I wasn't really bonding with anyone the first couple of weeks. And then I saw those first 2 or 3 breakthroughs and a couple of members of the group. And then it was just dominoes. And people were healing. They were sharing their deepest traumas, their highest hopes for life, their longest lost dreams that they had forgotten and abandoned. And if you're on the fence about this program, it's going to change your life. I guarantee it. I mean, I knew it from the bottom of my heart that it would change me. If you're procrastinating on working with Alan, I would advise you to start now, to work with him as soon as possible. Don't put it off. I put it off for a year. I feel like I lost a lot of money in that year. I lost a lot of potential in relationships. I put off my dreams for another year. You only have so many years of your life. Who knows? I could die tomorrow. I could die in 10 years. I could die in 50 years. None of us know. Do not put it off. Like, this is too important. Your life is too important. You're going to do amazing things if you work. I don't know if you believe in God or not, and the powers of the universe, but Alan has a God-given, universe-given ability to distill down a roadmap on how to fix them and how to live a bigger, bolder, better life. Sometimes like when you ask me this question, what impact has Alan had on your life? I'm a writer. I'm a professional communicator. I can't put words to it. I'm a different person, but completely in a better way. I haven't lost my personality. My personality is just better. I'm kinder. I feel like I'm more intelligent. I want to read more. I want to go after my passions more. I want to build stronger relationships with people. Alan recognizes that most men can be uncommon, and he kind of pulls that out of you. He's able to recognize the power inside of you and able to cultivate that and grow it. And I texted him a couple weeks ago and I said, man, you saved my life. And I don't think he really understood what I meant by that. It wasn't necessarily that I was considering taking my life. It was just a matter that I was considering going all the way through my life, ignoring my dreams, taking a parallel path to my ultimate path, and kind of living this half-assed version of the life that I knew I was meant to lead when I was 5 or 6 years old. I mean, I think a lot of us just bury our childhood dreams. Alan's kind of lived his life and recognized each lesson of his life and realized how he can apply that to someone else's. I feel like that's a really special ability. One thing that's truly special about Alan is that he's done all of the challenges. He does all the challenges daily. He does all the mental and physical challenges weekly. Everything he asks you to do, He does so because he knows it works, because he's done it for himself. He's done it for his family. He's done it for his best friends. So he's tested all of these methodologies. He's read thousands of books. This guy knows his shit. So he knows what he's doing. And if you doubt any of his practices, just let it play out and see what happens after. I would argue that Nico is the right coach for anyone. I feel like he can relate with anyone. He can recognize strong points in anyone. He can recognize weak points in anyone. I think his military experience, his extensive special forces experience, gives him a unique ability to recognize when someone's having difficulty, when someone's experiencing pain, when someone's going through something that's kind of beyond themselves, or if someone does not believe that they can overcome, something, whether it be professionally or whether it be personally. He's really a great coach, a great teacher, a great leader, a great mentor. I can't say enough about him. He's a savage. He's a badass. I mean, he's been through hell and back, but he has such a kind heart, and he's so understanding, and he really connects with people one-on-one. I feel like when Nico believes in you, you believe in you. His gift of empowerment is incredible. And he also has a uncanny ability to call you out on your shit. I really, really admire. He's done amazing things. And I recognize that he's experienced a lot of pain in his life, and he's made it through. I personally had a good deal of trauma, but nothing compared to him. But he reminded me, don't compare traumas. And he really kind of empowered me to take on my traumas head first and approach them and get rid of them. And we had a conversation about that. And I've since been able to shed all that trauma that in the one-on-one program with Alan, I've kind of got rid of. And it took one more program working with the group to shed the last bit of that kind of pain that I held inside of me from near-death experiences, from death of loved ones and other experience that are just kind of, you don't even realize you hold these things inside of you, whether it be from childhood or different tragedies. John's incredible because he's very strong-willed, but he also has this incredibly strong amount of empathy. So his ability to empathize with people, I think he brings something different to the table between him and the other coaches. He's really a complete, well-rounded person, and he's really able to pick anyone up at any given time. And I told him this the other day in a group call we had, but nobody leaves a room, leaves an interaction with John in the same mood that they came in as. You feel like a different person after each interaction with John, because he's able to pinpoint what's great about you and what you can work on, but he does so constructively. I think he's the most constructive teacher or coach I've ever worked with. He's just able to verbalize everything so kindly, but also so poignantly. So he knows when to be a little tough on people, but he's never going to be harsh, and he's never going to be abrasive. If we've all worked with bosses or even maybe our own parents have been abrasive at times in our past, he's got this fatherly energy to him. He just knows to say the right thing at the right time. And he knows when someone needs to hear something. In the group setting, I feel like when someone was struggling, John just knew it, and he would reach out to them almost instantly. And they would come away, and you would see a different person emerge the next day. And I think that's truly incredible and powerful. Get off the fence, get into your life. John will recognize everything you need to work on. He will catapult you in every area of life. He's such an amazing communicator, an amazing coach, amazing man. He's had such a broad range of life experiences, and he's able to distill that experience down and recognize what he can do to help you grow individually as a person, as a man, and how you can give your own unique gifts to the world. Better than I ever have. I think I've had some pretty turbulent relationships, some bad breakups in the past. And I've also gone pretty long periods of time being single. I love my own company. I love being single. I feel empowered by myself, but I'll kind of take it to an extreme where it's like, I haven't been on a date in a month or two. I need to get myself out there. Through Alan's program, the amount of confidence I've been able to build, I can approach any woman in the street, any woman at the airport, on a train, at the grocery store. You name the location. I feel confident striking a conversation with anyone, whether it be a CEO of a major corporation, whether it be the most beautiful woman I've ever seen walking by the aisle in the grocery store, which happened recently. But now I just feel like, I'm confident with who I am. And so I can approach anyone in any environment, just be myself. Don't worry about pickup lines. Just say whatever comes to my mind. If I get rejected by someone, I don't care at all. Like, it doesn't affect me. And I will approach someone else the next minute, the next day, whenever I feel like it. But I've been on more dates in the last 3 months than I have in the last 3 years. And it's incredible. I know I'll probably meet my wife pretty soon. Yeah, I feel like sounds cheesy to say, but my heart and my brain are kind of aligned. So my heart and my mind are kind of on the same path. And when you're able to align those two, the mind always gets in the way. If you can get your mind out of your body and vice versa, I feel like I'm just heading in the right direction. And through daily meditations, through different daily challenges, through weekly challenges, working with Alan, Nico, and John, my confidence is just through the roof. And I feel like I can really just tackle anything I want to do in my life. I just have the utmost confidence, and I feel like I've already achieved all of my greatest dreams. So now I'm just kind of sitting back and enjoying the ride. Like, I know without a doubt in my mind, like, my family sees it, my friends see it, the coaches, so I'm working with a photography coach. After this program, my photos are 10x better. My writing's better. My conversations with my clients are better. I'm making more money. Like, if you don't follow through with this program, don't know what to tell you. Yeah, I would add that it's incredible that I've been able to improve in all the main 5 pillars of my life. I have the best physique I've ever had. I talked about, I wish I could look like I looked when I was 22 years old. What do you know? I do again. It's incredible. Like, I had so much cortisol. You can see it in a previous video on Alan's page. But I was just puffy everywhere because I had so much stress, so much, built up trauma, so much low level chronic stress. A low level drip of cortisol is just so detrimental. It lowers testosterone. It lowers your general frequency in life and your energy. And I feel weightless. I walk on the streets like I'm a fucking feather. I just have this lightness about me that I've never had. And I have this love and passion for life that I've never had before. I'm just in love with life right now. And I'm just so excited for the people I care about most to see this growth in me. And hopefully they absorb a lot of what Alan has gifted me and what Nico and John have gifted me as well. I hope that kind of wears off on other people because it's so powerful. Working with Alan, he has the ability to reprogram the subconscious mind. And I think that was the most powerful exercise we went through. And I know a lot of therapists go through this, and I've talked to a few of my friends about this exercise in particular, and they all say, I work with therapists who went through that with me. I'm like, no, I don't think so. He goes through it with the utmost detail and precision, and just, it's amazing. Like, the way he's able to recognize certain habits, recognize certain language, the way you're speaking with yourself, and he's able to kind of reprogram to basically, he knows how to use a new programming language for your brain. And I feel like my brain is just operating on a different plane, and everyone recognizes it that I speak to, whether I mention it or not. And just incredible.